Good morning. It's Monday morning. May not be a very long program this morning. We're traveling today, and I need to load the car. uh, it was important to me that we do a program this morning because Velda and I are going to Kansas to see our dear friends Rick and Linda Osborne. You've heard me talk about Wheelchair Rick, and those of you who are close to the ministry know that Rick was my right arm in the homeless ministry and at Galena First Baptist Church. And we did everything together. They have moved to Kansas to be close to their kids and grandkids, which I understand completely, but still, how inconvenient it is for me that Rick is not here to help me. But there you go. We're going to leave here in a little while, and I'm not sure what the cell service or the internet availability will be where we're going. We're staying at a place that they've secured so that we can all stay together. It's like a hunting lodge or something. And so we're going to be there today, Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Come back Thursday after get up and come home in time to get home before dark, because we're actually going to have our big Thanksgiving time on Wednesday. And because Linda works for the VA, and that's the day she's got off. So that's what we're going to do. And Rick and I are going to talk about the Bible and talk all times and probably piddle around the shop and ruin something, like guys do. So I'm going to recap. We've started Isaiah 47. We may not get very far today, like I say, for time constraints. But I wanted to get this in. And if for some reason I cannot do the podcast from where I am, I will just post on Facebook that I'm sorry I can't do it. And I've tried doing it outside, but it's supposed to be rainy and cold in Kansas, so I don't know how much outside podcasting I will be doing. So we'll hope that I stay in contact with you while I'm gone. These Bible studies are a lot more important to me than they are to you, because it keeps my mind alert and makes me remember the things that I learned. And I learn new things, as a matter of fact. And maybe I won't have to, after I get back, maybe I won't have to keep doing this so much, because my trifocals seem inadequate to the moment. And I've got an eye appointment on the 2nd of December, which is a week from tomorrow. And so maybe I'll be getting some new glasses, and I'll be able to see a little better. I'm reading Danny's Bible this morning that has the slightly larger print. This wonderful Cambridge Bible that he bought me that is so nice I'm almost afraid to use, because I'm afraid I'll spit on it or something. But it is a great Bible. Chapter 47, it is a judgment of Babylon. And as I explained yesterday, it is a short-term judgment. God promises Isaiah and Israel that Assyria will not conquer Judah. And they didn't. God turned them away, remember. Remember good old General Rabshaggy? I'm going to make you eat your own dung and drink your own piss. Well, he didn't. God killed 185,000 of them heathen. He sure did. They were gone. They were dead. They were all dead corpses. And the king's own sons murdered him in a temple. So that's the judgment of God. We don't want to get cross with him, man. So, anyway, Isaiah, remember, is writing 140 years before Nebuchadnezzar took Judah into captivity and destroyed Jerusalem. But God is writing about the judgment with which he will judge Babylon for doing that. And as I showed you, that the judgment that he promises is far more severe than the judgment that they received at the hands of the Medes and the Persians, because King Cyrus took the city without a fight. He took Babylon without a fight. and executed the ruling class, and then he just set up his throne there. And Darius the Mede was the first king. But by 537, 536, Cyrus the Great was the king. And he was the one who let the Jews return to Judah, to Jerusalem, to rebuild. The judgment, the final judgment that Isaiah is reporting, is prophesying here, is the judgment of Mystery Babylon the Great at the end of the Great Tribulation, at the Battle of Armageddon, or slightly before, when they are completely and utterly destroyed, never to rise again. Chapter 47, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. The throne was overturned. But you see, when Cyrus took over, there was a throne, and Darius sat on it. And then so did Cyrus. So, he's talking about a short-term judgment and a far-term judgment. A judgment that's, for Isaiah at this time, 170 years away. And then a judgment that from Isaiah's time is about at least 2,700 years plus, because that's where we are right now. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. And that's the work of a servant, the work of a slave. Rolling up your dress and tying it up in the front and sitting down there and grinding the corn or the wheat at the millstone for meal, for flour to make the bread. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. I'm going to punish you a lot more than a man would. And as I said yesterday, this has the ravishing concept, but not physically, mentally, spiritually. When it was the old rules of war, when you whipped the other king and took his city, you drank his wine, you took his gold, and you raped the women. That's just what they did back in those days. Sometimes that's what they do now. And that is why war is so terrible, and why God hates it as much as he does. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of the Kingdoms. And I read to you yesterday the passages in Jeremiah and in the Revelation where he's talking about that future destruction of Babylon the Great. In verse 6 of Isaiah chapter 47, I was wroth with my people. I polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. I was wroth with my people, polluted their inheritance, and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou laid very heavily thy yoke. Isaiah prophesied this earlier. Jeremiah saw it fulfilled. Jeremiah saw it fulfilled. Because the anger of the Lord was kindled against him. And it tells us why he took them into captivity. for all of their sin that they had done. In chapter 5 of Isaiah, now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard, and a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it. We studied this carefully and compared it to Jesus' parable of the Lord of the vineyard and the husbandman, and also made a winepress therein. He looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, I judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be beaten up, and break down the walls thereof, and it shall be trodden down, and I will lay it waste, and it shall not be pruned nor digged. But there shall come up briars and thorns, and I will command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Lord's host is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression, for righteousness. Behold, a cry. And he goes through these woes of the people that they had done, and the wickedness they had done. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In mine ears said the Lord of hosts, of a truth, many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without inhabitant. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield one bath, and the seed of an homer shall yield an ephah. Your harvest is going to be nothing. Your press will be nothing. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till the wine inflames them. And the harp and the viol and the tabret and the pipe and wine are in their feast, but they regard not the work of the Lord, neither consider the operation of his hands. Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge. And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp. And he that rejoices shall descend into it. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment. And God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, as sin, as if it were a cart rope, that say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. In other words, God, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. Give it your best shot. That is what the United States and the world is doing right now. We're shaking our fist at heaven and saying, come on, come on. Man cannot prevail against God. It's impossible. Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light, and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes, and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle drink, which justify the wicked for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the shaft, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people, and he has stretched forth his hand against them, and has smitten them, and the hills did tremble, and their carcasses were torn in the midst of the streets. But for all this, his anger is not turned away. His hand is stretched out still. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations from afar, and will hiss unto them from the ends of the earth. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly to punish God's people, all by the design of God, to judge a wicked, stiff-necked, and gainsaying people. Does that sound familiar to you? Boy, it does to me. Scares me to death. How long will you shake your fist at God and think you'll come to no trouble and no downfall, no comeuppance? None shall be weary nor stumble among them. None shall slumber nor sleep. Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosed, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken. In other words, this is an army coming. You can't stop. It's talking to Israel, talking to Judah. It could be talking to us. Whose arrows are sharp and all their bows bent, and their horses' hoofs shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. Their roaring shall be like a lion. They shall roar like young lions. Yea, they shall roar and lay hold of the prey, and shall carry it away safe. None shall deliver it. And in that day they shall make a roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one look unto the land, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is the darkness in the heavens thereof. And that's what he said he would do, and that's what Isaiah said what he'd do. And he did that during the days of Jeremiah. He fulfilled all of that. And Jeremiah watched it and saw it and wrote it down. Destroyed Jerusalem. God said, I was wroth with my people. I polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. And upon the ancient hast thou cast heavily thy yoke. Exactly what God said would happen. Deuteronomy 28. If the nation turned away from the Lord. It was predicted. Verse 45 of chapter 28 of the Deuteronomy, the second giving, the second law. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because there hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Written around 1450 BC, 700 plus years before Isaiah. 800 plus years before Jeremiah, before its fulfillment. Of course, Assyria had already taken Israel, but Babylon would take Judah 150 years later. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a great nation against thee from afar, a nation against thee from afar, and from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or the flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And so on and so forth comes the great destruction from the Lord. That destruction came upon Israel, whose capital was Samaria, in 732 BC by the Assyrians. That destruction would come upon Judah in 586 BC, and the destruction of Jerusalem and the captivity of Judah by the Babylonians in 586 BC. God predicted it all, and then he carried it out. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. And thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. We will continue this tomorrow and compare these passages to the future fall of Babylon, because this chapter talks about the destruction of Babylon, even though God is talking about the destruction of Judah at this point. Most of this chapter is about the destruction of Babylon for destroying Judah. God judged his people, and then God judges the nation that judged his people. You see, with him, there's no respecter of person. He's the same with everybody. The same God. God bless you all. I'm going to take off because I need to get going. I love you all. We'll continue this tomorrow, hopefully, from chapter 47 of Isaiah.